Hey, how's it going everyone? This is DCSU81 and I hope you have a great day today because we are going to do a comparison review for this Mafex Justice League Batman versus this Mafex the Zack Snyder Justice League Batman. Before we take a look into the figures itself, I would like to compare on the box design. So for the Justice League Batman, of course, I have thrown the box away long time ago, but I'll put a picture here for you to see. And I do still have the Zack Snyder version. So from here you can see two of them actually are pretty much the same except for the color. Yes, the Zack Snyder version is slightly more black and white, as you can see. It's kind of more darker in the overall paint of the box, while the Justice League earlier version box is a lot more colorful. And from here you can see at the side as well, even though different poses, but one is more having the color and another one is just black and white. Same goes for this other side. You can see even though they have this different pose, again it's a little bit the same. And as for the back, this time around the Zack Snyder do have a little bit color, especially on the face, and even the figure have, you can see the gray as well. Slightly more colorful, but the one from the earlier version is a lot more colorful. Yeah, I think that's how they want to differentiate the box design for both of the Batman. And while we're still talking on the box, I would like to show you the contents of it. So from here you can see, of course, the Justice League version is not my pictures. I found it on the net, while this the Zack Snyder version is actually taken by me. So you can see the accessory part is rather different. Okay, the one from the Justice League has 6 set of hands, interchangeable hands, while the ones from the newer only 3 pairs of interchangeable hands. And you can see both of them, this comes with the grappling hook gun and 3 batarangs, as well as the earlier versions. This comes with something like smoke guns as well. Okay, and the Justice League version, this comes with 1 interchangeable heads, while the Zack Snyder version, this comes with 2 more masked interchangeable heads plus another unmasked Bruce Wayne heads. And from here I'd like to do a comparisons on the grappling hook gun. So on my left here is the older versions, which is the Justice League, and on my right here is the newest Zack Snyder version. You can see the guns designs are pretty much the same, I would say. Yeah, maybe a slight improvement there, especially on the design. Yeah, I think here there is a slight difference over these portions, and both of them do comes with this part that can be removed, the hook. Yep, so it's the same. And the batarang, this seems to be a bit different. You can see the older one, which is this one, is slightly more grayish, while the newer one do spot a bit of something like a more gunmetal kind of gray. Yeah, it looks much more how do I put it, premium looking. Yeah, it's like a little bit more nicer paint overall. And this is something like a smoke gun that I mentioned that doesn't come with the newer Zack Snyder version. It only comes with the old Justice League Batman versions. As well as this, something like a grenade here. And let's do a comparisons on the only interchangeable head that comes with the Justice League version. This one is of course the Zack Snyder version. You can see, I think they improve on the skin tone itself, but the sculpture is pretty much the same. And now we shall take a look at the Batman itself. So from a glance you can really see there's quite a major difference for both of them. Yeah, somehow I just kind of like the color on the old Justice League version more, because the one on the Zack Snyder brings a bit of blue instead of just black and gray. Yeah, it just have like some light blue here. This seems to me like a more accurate versions of the suit color somehow. Yeah, but let's take a look at how this guy is holding on, because this guy is easily 6 to 7 years old, while this one is less than a year. Okay, and I must say that things are not looking well. You can see that the cape has started to break down, even though I rarely pose with the cape because it doesn't have any wire for you to pose. It's just draped down, so there's not much of a poses you can do, but you can really see it start to flake. Yeah, this is like the nightmare of every collectors, especially those with the cape. Yeah, I can see the platter is starting to flake. Oh my goodness, this looks very horrible. And the bad news is this new Batman does seems to have the same material, except that the Zack Snyder one does have bandy wire. Other than that, the outer layers, it feels very much the same. So just like to bring the bad news, in 6 to 7 years this guy will face the same fate as this Batman. Oh my goodness, this is really bad, and I have put him in a very good away from sunlight. There's no heat in my room, the condition, and I really seldom mess with the cape, and it okay. And another thing is, you can see how loose it has become. I really couldn't remember when I first gotten him, is it that bad? Maybe not, but once again, you see this is like a really bad shape now. This Batman is just loose, but I think this can be easily fixed. Just put some what do you call that, some oil or maybe some blue tape will fix the problem. This is not a big deal, yeah, but it does become like this. But this new one, of course, is still pretty tight, I would say. Yep. Okay, so let's do a comparisons on the look. Other than the color that I mentioned earlier, you can see that it does bulk up quite a bit for this newer Batman as compared to the old one. As I mentioned in the review for this guy, I say that he doesn't look much bulk up, but once I see this comparison, yes, they did make him look a little bit more bulkier, yeah, which is what we all wanted. Even his arm just seems to be tiny bit bigger, yeah. But other than that, the Bat logo, yeah, there's a lot more scratch here and there for the new one. The older one just seems a bit clean, and you can clearly see the Bat symbols on the new suit. And the belt just seems to have almost the same details, I would say, slightly different as compared to the old one. It does have a bit of washed out gold. Yep. And let's see at the back, there's not much at the back for this Batman. The same goes for the old one, except they have some marking there, DC Comics. Does they say the year as well? Maybe I can tell how long is it ago. No, they don't have the year there. Yep. And yeah, I can see that even the butt is slightly wider for the newer versions of the Batman. Yeah, so the pants, they have creases over, very much the same for both. And the boots is also slightly bigger for the newer one. And yeah, and let's see the gauntlet. The gauntlet, this looks kind of similar in a way. Yeah, just that this one does have a little bit more gold being washed up there. And as for the face, I believe is pretty much the same, except for the newer one does have a better skin tone, as the older one is a lot more pale. Yeah, as for the head, I believe it's pretty much the same size. Maybe we'll do a comparison, but from what I can see now is pretty much the same. Okay, and since we are at it, let's do a quick comparisons on the scale. Okay, so we know that he's buffer, but is he taller? Yes. Okay, so from here you can see that it does seems to bring about a few centimeter taller for the Zack Snyder Batman. Yeah, it just seems like he's bigger and taller this time, which is good. I mean, this is all we wanted our Batman to be. Yeah, he just seems to be slightly taller for the newer Batman here. Okay, next we will talk about the articulations. I have played around with both of them. I do feel that a few of improvement on this new Batman, so I'll talk about the old one what has been improved. The neck itself, as you can see for this older Batman, the Justice League version, is kind of, you know, hard to move, especially on the neck. It seems like it's all how do I put it, it's a separate piece, but it's very much on the same size as the cowl. That's why it's pretty much to move around. For the neck, you can see it gets stuck all the time. But for this new Batman, they actually make it a lot more flexible. You can see the neck actually can move very freely. It doesn't get restrained by this part of the cowl. Yeah, so this is one of the improvement. The second thing is that this Batman arm inside is hollow. You know, there is no extra piece for the butterfly joint, while this new Batman does have the extra pieces. Other than that, the third thing is this portion here is very easy to move. As you can see, it's very loosened already, while this one does have scratch problem because it's still new, and they actually make it too close for the gap so that it just looks good in the outlook, but when you try to move it around, you start to have scratches. But it doesn't happen on this Batman because they have a slightly wider gap. Yeah, so this is the difference. And for this old Batman, it has a pull-down mechanism and the double joint knee. This Batman have the same thing as well. Okay, so it's a very few minor difference, and of course the cape, like I mentioned earlier, this one doesn't have any bandy wire, and the newer one does have the bandy wire for you to pose him with. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much the difference when it comes to the articulations. And next, I would like to do some head swapping or even some hand swapping and see whether it can you actually interchange some of the accessory on them. So let's start with the head. So I'll easily remove it, and from here we can also do a quick comparisons whether the head is of the same size, because the body itself is different size. Yeah, the newer one is more bulkier. So if is it the head is also bigger? Wow, okay, so from the look of it, this seems that they actually increase the size of the head as well. This seems that the newer one is tiny bit bigger, but let's see if it's actually usable on the old one. Okay, do you feel that it looks funny with the bigger head? From the look of it, this seems to be okay. This is the Zack Snyder heads on the old Justice League body. Let's try on the old heads on the new body instead. It doesn't click though, it just went straight in. And let's try about this one. This one, yeah, I think it's bigger. The ball joint is bigger, so you can't really go in. And from here you can really see that it does have a smaller head with this big body. Yeah, so the head swapping does not work for this Batman. Next, I'm pretty sure you guys want to know if this mask head of Bruce Wayne can work on this old Batman body. Yes, we need to take off the entire neck, which I don't think you're supposed to. It just comes out with the joint itself, but it's okay, we can actually put it in. Okay, it's the neck joint. No, doesn't seem. It's okay, I'll just put it in like this. So you can see that this looks okay though. Yeah, I think it does works in a way. Yeah, the black is slightly different because of the cowl. This cowl just seems to be a little bit more grayish. This one have more black. So but once you go straight in, you can't really tell. Yeah, I think in a way that this Bruce Wayne head does works on the old body as well. And next we shall try to interchange the hands and see whether it fits on both. So I'll try the Zack Snyder Batman on the older Batman hands. Yes, it does work. And let's see about the size. I think the size of the hand is almost the same from what I can see. So let's try with the old Batman hands on the new Batman. Yes, it does went in pretty well, and from here I can see that it's really of no difference. So that means that this new Batman can actually hold the something like a smoke gun, the one that comes with this Batman only. You can use it on this guy as well. Okay, so this is what I meant. You can actually use this smoke gun which only comes with this older Batman, and you can use the hands from him as well on this new Batman, so he can have this smoke gun that he never comes with. Pretty cool. And lastly, for the price, of course, this Batman was much cheaper back in 6 to 7 years ago, while this newer one is a lot more expensive. And if they didn't come out with this new Batman, this one was fetching a pretty high price, because during that time he's the only one and everyone like trying to get him, and his price, I remember it was hiked up pretty much. But right now, with the existence of this new Batman, I don't think this is no longer a high price. No one wanted to get this one anymore because of the newly improved one. So it makes no sense for you to, you know, go and hunt down this guy again, because as you can see, over time it does flicks. Maybe the one that you get still mint in the box, but it's already flicking like this. Yeah, so no point getting this guy even for the cheaper price. Okay, so for my final verdict, yes, you can really see this new Zack Snyder Batman is a big improvement over the older ones, and very unfortunate the older one has already shown sign of wear and torn, even though I rarely play with the cape. And this newer one does have better articulation, better overall look, much lesser accessory compared to the old one, but they compensate it by giving us more heads. Yeah, 2 more interchangeable mask head and 1 unmasked head for this Zack Snyder Batman. And of course, with more things, better outlook, it actually fetched a much higher price compared to the older ones. So yes, I would totally say that this Zack Snyder Batman is worth upgrading it to. Even though you already have the old one, you should totally upgrade this new one, even if I doubt that your older one still have a very good condition without any, you know, breaking like mine. I think more or less the cape will start degrading, start to peel off, start to flake and unfortunately this Batman, I think, will face the same fate in near future. It will start to flake as well. Yeah, so this is something unavoidable, very sad truth. So nevertheless, this new Zack Snyder Batman is worth upgrading to. Totally recommend you to upgrade it even if you have the older one. So for those of you guys who doesn't have this old one, you should totally get the Zack Snyder Batman without a doubt. Okay, he's good looking. I think the size just went very well with this new one. You should totally get this new Batman. So I do hope that you enjoy these comparisons, and I'll catch you guys again in my next video.